Welcome. Tinny Talk. Welcome to Tinny Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Jordan GAYLE is my guest today on Tinny Talk. And you're best known for Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
Now, let's go straight into that because I haven't got a clue what that is.
Okay.
I can kind of guess from the name.
Yeah.
But what is that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's an experiment for people crazy enough to want to kind of dive right into a marriage before you even know anyone. Like, literally, the first time you see him is, like, that's it. You're kind of committing to each other.
Wow.
Yeah. And I really did. I really committed. I don't know, like, looking back, I took it as serious as I'm going to be with this person forever.
Okay.
Whether that was the right thing to do or not, looking back at it now, is questionable because it felt like the right thing to do at the time. And yeah, like up until like maybe the last couple of months, I feel like that's why I've been so heartbroken because I thought I was going to be with this person forever. But that's the idea. That you meet someone, a stranger, and they become your forever person.
Okay.
To see if it works.
So I automatically judge that as like that is never going to last.
No.
Like meeting somebody at the altar, like on a show like that, of course it's not going to last. But we've had a brief conversation about your relationship, but you guys were actually, you did fall in love.
Yeah, like hard. And that's the thing. So I think anyone that thinks about it, like, on the surface, like, yeah, I was the exact same. Like, up until I met her and, like, fell for it, I was like, this is never gonna, like, work. Like, I hope it does, but realistically, like, I've probably got more chance of winning the lottery. But then we really fell for each other, and, like, very quickly as well. And that's what made, we had the best, I don't want to rant too much too soon, but we had the best time, like, living the show. Like, whilst we were there, we were like laughing at everyone else because we were so happy. We were like, we have won the lottery. Like, we actually really, really like each other. It couldn't be any better. And it was all good up until the show aired a few months later.
Okay.
And the way they twist it and the way they edit it, and we were watching it thinking, that's not how it went. Like, we don't recognise this.
Yeah.
And then the stresses of living that lifestyle in the public eye and stuff, like, it starts to weigh on you, and that's when I think the cracks start to show.
And do you think, like, obviously you are meeting each other in the show. Once you leave the show, do you think you're both the same people? Like, I think you can, in a show like that, you think you might know somebody, but then when you leave and you're, like you said, not in the public eye anymore, was she the person that you thought you'd married, or
So
did a different side of her and yourself start?
So the way
coming out?
The way maths works is that you like are there living in the apartment for like 2-3 months.
Okay.
But then it's not aired until a few months later.
Okay.
So we didn't really get like the fame and like the attention until a few months later. So we were living a normal life pretty much.
Okay.
We couldn't post each other on our socials, but we was living a normal life. To the point where no one knew us yet for like 3-4 months in between leaving the apartment from filming the TV show to the TV show actually airing.
Okay.
And we got even closer and fell for each other even more. We did absolutely everything together, and we were like, we never said it, but we were like madly in love with each other, and we were like each other's best friend. We did everything together, and we loved it. And then, I mean, I don't know, even up until like recently, which is why the breakup's so mad, like even a couple of months ago, we were literally looking at getting a house together in Manchester.
Yeah.
It's only up until recently that, for some reason, like, even looking back at it now, it's crazy to think that we're not together. And it's still hard for me to actually get my head around that we're not together. Because we got through everything. Like, people will not even begin to understand that we probably got through more in that 1 year of being together than most people would in like 40 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Like, things that happen on camera, things that happen off camera, things that because of TV, but then also like personal issues that we dealt. And we felt like we were the best of friends, and it was us against the world.
Yeah.
And we felt like nothing would beat us. Like, we got through everything. So it's almost like I can't get my head around that actually something did beat us. And looking at it, it's probably something that shouldn't have got to where it is.
Small.
Yeah. But I think those little stresses, and everything that got thrown at us built up, and maybe we just lost that bit of fight in the end because of everything before it.
So when I first met you and you said, you know, that were going through a breakup, we met at the Arnolds, and you said going through a breakup, I probably said it out loud, I think I did, well, it doesn't surprise me on a show like that. Like, I just don't understand how you can, like, literally, I mean, that takes balls to go, like, okay, let's just go on a show and get married. But then to actually, it blows my mind to think that people would expect to go on there and actually end up having a solid relationship and staying together. I don't know if other couples have, but explain to me how that works though. Like you're saying, you have to stay. You get married. They obviously go based on your likes and things like that. You get married, and then you and other couples have to stay in an apartment together. So essentially, that they're looking for drama and looking for you to break up.
Oh yeah.
They don't want you to stay together.
Yeah, it's almost like they almost make it impossible for you to work. So much so that I've not actually said this to anyone. But we was going through a tough time, like maybe 6 months ago, October, like last year, and we was on the verge of breaking up.
Okay.
But this was as the TV show was airing.
Okay.
And I reached out to one of the experts, Paul, and he wanted to help me. And he was messaging me, like, giving me advice, because I was like, I'm scared that I'm going to mess something up and I'm going to lose this person that is so special to me, means a lot to me. And he was helping me, giving me advice, which he's, by the way, Paul is one of the experts on the show, a marriage expert, a relationship expert. So basically what the show would make you believe is that that's his job, to help people.
Okay.
And I made the mistake of telling Welfare, and Welfare turned around to me and went, don't speak to him, he's not really supposed to speak to you, because if he speaks to you, then he's going to have to help everyone else. And I was thinking, well, everyone else is split up. It's only really me and Erica that's still together.
Yeah.
And if he's his own man, if he wants to help me, if he's just talking to me as a friend, which, because he was really nice, a really nice guy, why can he not help me? And they were like, no, it's just, like, you know, if he helps you, he has to help everyone else, or talk to everyone else. And I'm like, so the show that's supposed to make people last forever is literally telling their expert that not to go against everything that the show would want to make you believe. And I was like, it's almost like you're not supposed to work. Like, and
well, it's not. It's for drama.
But that's the thing, and I feel like a mug now for falling for her. I don't want to get emotional, because I've not actually got emotional in a while, but I feel like a mug for falling for her as hard as I did. And this is weird, because I've not actually got emotional about it for a long time, because I think I've been holding it back a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. You're allowed to get emotional about it. Like,
because I think obviously what's sad as well is that how she's been on social media since. I think she's got it in her head. I don't know, like, everyone deals with it in different ways, but she's almost got it in her head that it'll be easier for her to be angry at me.
Yeah.
And it's almost like she's looking back at us and not concentrating all the special memories we had, or the cute memories, the little things, like the silly little nicknames we had for each other, and then the big moments that were really special to us. She's concentrating on the negatives and the weaknesses that all relationships have. Yeah. And the world doesn't need to hear about them, because everyone has weaknesses. Yeah. And that's what's really sad, because, like, I'm trying my best to not think about that. I want to move forward with happiness and, like, learning from it and being blessed from it, and thinking about us and being happy and just feeling blessed that I met her and I got to share that time with her. But at the same time, I'm trying not to... If I think about it too much, then I'll start to miss her too much and stuff. And I feel like she's almost acted like she's happy now, she's on her own and stuff. And so I'm just, like, looking out for myself. So I don't want to get too emotional. I don't want to get, like, dwell on it too much. But yeah. I
think I go from personal experience that I found it much harder to be angry with my ex-husband than it was to try and remember the good times, because you do still, you know, have feelings for that person. Like, you don't spend that much time with somebody and then don't have any feelings. So sometimes, in my experience, she's maybe acting like that because she doesn't want to have to experience those feelings, those emotions, because then it would be too painful. So it's far easier to be angry with you, because then there's no emotion there.
Yeah.
It's just anger, and she hates you, and that makes it so much easier, because she wouldn't want to be with you anyway, because you're so angry at you. Where if you remember the good times, it then becomes painful.
Yeah.
And hurtful. So like you said, everybody deals with things differently, and it's obviously her way of processing things, and that's her way of doing it, and you've got your way.
Yeah.
So what made you want to go on that show? Because I couldn't think of anything fucking worse than doing that. Like, why did you want to, how did that come about? Why did you decide that it was the right thing for you? And did you think that outcome would happen?
So my life at that point, I just broken up with my ex, and I was with her for 3.5 years. We had a house together for like 3 years, and in that moment in my life, I thought that settling down with someone would not leave me satisfied. I felt like I needed to go and conquer the world, and I needed to be as successful as possible. And I got an opportunity to go to LA for like a couple of months to work with athletes, and which was really cool, and I wanted to do that. And I did that at the cost of the relationship for one reason or another. I came back to the UK in October from LA, and I got back, and I think those 2 months in LA helped me like not concentrate on being sad about that relationship ending. And I got back to the UK, and it was the winter, and by the way, I hate the winter in the UK, like the dark days, the short days, like the miserable weather. I hated it, and I was like feeling really low, and then I never checked my Instagram like junk. And I checked my Instagram junk like messages, and it was like 3 weeks ago someone messaged me saying, "We think you'd be perfect for this." And I clicked on it, I was like, this is spam. And it was like, "We think you'd be perfect for Married at First Sight." And I was like, is this a scam? But if it's not, I'm going to need to know more about this. Because they just told me to apply, and I was like, I'm not applying, like, I need to know what this is about.
What it is.
So then they offered to ring me, and they basically like sold me the dream for like an hour on the phone. Saying like, "We think you'd be great for it, and like you could meet someone, like the experts go into all this advice, they make sure they find someone that's perfect for you, and even failing that, then like you've tried, and like and they sold it to me, and so I was like, wasn't sure at first, really wasn't sure. Then because I don't watch reality TV, and then I started watching the show, and then the more I watched the show, the more I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It seemed too cringy. But then I thought, but I'm not happy with my life at the moment. And I was sort of in this mindset of like, well, I've tried everything. I've gone to LA. I've thought like this would satisfy me, but it's not.
Yeah.
Why not just try this? Maybe this will like satisfy my like happiness, because I wasn't that happy. And you know what it did? It was honestly the best experience in my life, and that's because the person I was with.
Yeah.
Which goes back to, which is why it's so sad that she's trying to like twist the narrative, because it was the best time ever, and I've had the best year ever. And even though I didn't end up with my perfect outcome, I have left with a lot of opportunities, which I hate the misconception maybe about me because of other people that do reality TV is that everyone does it because for the fame or for the money, for the opportunities. I think everyone that knows me knows that went out the window. The moment I fell for her, I didn't care about any of the fame, any of the opportunities, any of the money. So losing the relationship was like the be all and end all for me. But now that's happened, it's like, okay, well, I still got stuff to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Even though I lost a marriage, I wouldn't be sat here with you today if I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, because I wouldn't have got recognised at Arnold's, and I wouldn't have been asked to do the stuff we've done for Silverback.
Yeah.
And then, like, so everything I've got from it is from opportunities from the show, so I am grateful for that. And I think I've rambled a bit, but I think I've answered your question. Like, that's kind of why I did it. I was wanting the fairy tale, but failing that, it has led to opportunities like this.
You've taken other things from it.
Yeah.
So we've spent some time together today. We did some strongman training, which you were very good at, so well done.
Oh, thank you.
But
I'm not sure about that, but...
there was, that's what I was just a way to bring up.
No, I've done it again.
Just did it. You just did it. Okay. Like, you are very critical of yourself. Like, you've spent, like, I noticed it at the Arnolds, but I just assumed that maybe he's just having a bad day, because you did say you weren't feeling great that day, and you were a bit down and whatever. So I was like, oh, okay. And then we've chatted over the last few months. Now, I'd kind of noticed it then, but I really noticed it today that you're very critical of yourself, quite negative of yourself. And I know that you said that, you know, I'm just having a joke and making fun of myself and things like that. But from personal experience, I know that when I was maybe a little bit insecure and not so confident in myself, that's exactly what I would have done.
Okay.
Would you say that you're quite secure as a person? Or would you say that there's insecurities there and this is why you put yourself down?
I don't think there's like a definite answer to that. I think there's probably a spectrum on, like, of different things, right? So, am I secure enough as a person to not change who I am for anyone? 100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. And I think the best thing about me is that some people came across better than me on that show, but I know for sure out of everyone, I was the most genuine, even for the worst sometimes. So, for example, partner swap week, I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it, and everyone else did it, even though they didn't really want to. But I was like, I'm not doing it because I don't agree with it, and I lived that experiment as if the TV cameras weren't there.
Yeah.
Because I would not change for anyone. I'm too stubborn for that, which is not a great quality, but I am really stubborn. And so yeah, I'm not insecure in that aspect, but maybe. So years ago, like to the ex before the show and the two girlfriends prior, and to people in my life before, I've not been the best person.
Okay.
I've been very selfish to myself as well. Like, I was just oblivious to my own struggles, to other people's struggles, and I just bottled everything away. And I didn't speak about struggling like with mental health, and I don't know. I was just making myself ignorant.
Yeah.
To the pain I was causing others, and to the pain I was causing myself. And the reason why I did that show as well, going back to it, if I think about it more, is that I knew that I had to change as a person. And I was like, there's people that are literally, because you have to analyse yourself. Like, when they are recruiting you for that show, they talk about your childhood. They ask you everything that's happened in your life and why it's happened and how it's made you feel. And it's like, it's a lot of therapy. And for the first time in my life, I was really thinking about my life, analysing myself and analysing why I was doing it and what I've done. And I was like, the love that my ex gave me, the one that before the show, I didn't want, and I thought I wanted to conquer the world. But now I look back and I think, the love you gave me, I should have been the most. I won in life.
Should have been happy.
I should have been happy with it. And the pain I caused her by not only receiving it but by giving her nothing back really upsets me. And I thought, I need to change as a person.
Yeah.
So I've been ultra critical of myself since then, because I never want to cause pain to anyone else like that ever again. And I wanted to never be that kind of person ever again. And on maths, there was a couple of times where I got upset with how I'd been as a person before, and I started getting emotional. And the camera people was like, do you want us to take the cameras away? We don't have to film this bit. And I said, no. I said, keep them rolling. I was like, this is my consequence. This is me being genuine. Like, it's my fault that I've got this pain because of what I've done, my actions. And it's almost like sometimes I punish myself for the person I was. And I know my intentions are to try and be the best person I can be now. But I'm probably ultra critical of myself because the show makes you that way. And I was ready to be ultra critical of myself, and I wanted to improve. But then that TV show, it picks out every flaw you've got.
Yeah. And
I feel like, without digging too many people out, I feel like it happened with all the guys on the show. The girls were ultra critical, and the guys took all the responsibility, because as a guy, sometimes you feel like, oh, we're a guy, we've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Especially if a girl's getting like upset and crying, you think, oh, I've done something wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. I just thought, I've not been a good person before, so anything I do wrong, it must be my fault.
Okay.
And then a lot of criticism came my way.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, that must be right. It must be right. And being in the public eye, being like famous and stuff, you get judged to the highest standard that's not fair.
Yeah.
And anything you do that someone else would do, a normal person, they'd get away with it and no one knows about it. But because you do it in the public eye, you get like crucified for it. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I think I've just got used to like criticizing myself. That's me trying to like look at it at a deeper level.
So you're saying that, you know, you don't want to make people feel bad like you have in the past, But with you criticising yourself, you're not taking responsibility of the fact that you're putting yourself down and that you're potentially harming yourself by doing that. Like, there's a lot of times today that you really underestimated yourself, first of all. Then even when you did do a good job, it wasn't enough. Like, would you say that is healthy language to be saying to yourself? Because at the end of the day, the most important person in life that you need to look after is yourself. But if you're putting yourself down like that, how can you expect to then be the best person for other people if you are putting yourself down?
And I think that's where I lost myself in the last year. So, like I said, so it's going back to, like, before I knew that the person I was with was giving me everything, I was giving nothing back. So they was better than me. So when I came into the doing maths, I thought that I need to give everything to them.
Yeah.
And that basically that any criticism they gave me, like, they must be right. And then I started being really hard on myself and thinking everything is my fault, because it normally was. So even though it might not have been this time round, I was like, yeah, everything's my fault. And then I started to put them on a pedestal, because before I've always said everyone put me on a pedestal, but then I put them on a pedestal this time. And it was the first time I let myself be vulnerable. So it was the first time I got hurt. Like, I've let myself get hurt because I will put them on a pedestal, and because I don't know, I can't explain it. It's like I flip the switch.
Okay. So to kind of build up that, confidence in yourself again, feeling good about yourself, what steps are you taking to do that right now?
Yeah, I think the reason I lost myself is because I stopped going to the gym in the last, like, year. Bearing in mind, like, I got 3 kg dumbbells from the age of, like, 10 years old. And I had a rule, because I've got OCD. I had rules that I had to stick to. And it was like, I have to, anytime I get out of bed, or I'm going to get in bed, I had to do 10 press-ups. And I've always had this weird obsession of, like, being big and strong. And
Okay.
I don't know, it kind of stems from, like, my childhood and, like, just wanting to, like, be, like, the man of, like, the house and, like, protect my mum and my sister. And I've always had this obsession with being big and strong. And so I've always been involved in fitness. I remember before I turned 16, I could properly join a gym. I joined a gym called Iron Athlete, and I was like 14, 15. And then I remember my birthday present as a 16-year-old, I joined Virgin Active and got, like, a personal trainer and stuff. And then as soon as I turned 18, got a personal training job. And then trained 6 times a week, like, every week.
Yeah.
And then for the last year, I, like, stopped training, went weeks without training, and, like, trained twice, and really lost myself, lost my confidence.
Yeah.
So then, like, obviously, heartbreak, what does everyone do normally? They get into the gym, don't they?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I wasn't doing it just because of that. I was doing it, like, I need to find myself again.
Yeah.
So I started going to the gym. I pretty much go whenever I can. Like, I'm not as harsh on myself this time, because if I miss a day, I miss a day.
Yeah.
I'm healthy with it, but...
A bit more relaxed with it now.
Yeah, but anytime I can fit the gym in my day, I'm going, like, 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And I go to the gym, and yeah, I'm just training hard in the gym. And, like, people like Silverback, like, going to the Arnolds, that really helped me. And, like, meeting people like you, it did, like, that share that passion that reminded me of the passion I had.
Yeah. It's just about getting involved as well. And, like you said, that day, you wasn't feeling too great, but sometimes you need somebody to be like,
that push.
You're going to do it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
No, that you literally...
That was me that day. Listen, you're doing it,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you may
yeah.
as well just agree, because I'm not leaving you until you say yes.
Yeah, but that's what the fitness, like, industry and the gym, like, I feel like every gym has a community, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And this is the mad thing, is that I think that the gyms are the friendliest place that you could find. Because normally if you go down a shopping centre, like, you don't really talk to anyone.
Yeah.
But if you're in a gym, like, people come up to people, they talk with each other,
Yeah,
they
you're
make
going to end up having a conversation
Yeah,
with
you
somebody.
make friends in the gym. And, like, the gym is like a community. So not only does it help you feel better about yourself physically, and then that makes you feel better about yourself mentally.
Yeah.
You just feel part of a community, which makes you more sociable and, like, feel less alone. And so the gym is, like, definitely saved me through, like, this heartbreak and this really tough time.
Yeah.
And I feel like myself again, and yeah, like, I'm training, and my strength's going up now, like, because I lost a lot of size and a lot of strength from doing TV, which I said the first day I met you, which is why I didn't want to do it. Because
I don't want to do it because I'm weak now. It's
yeah.
Like, you're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
It's about getting out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. And I'm getting back to where I was, like, and today, even doing the strength training,
Which you surprised yourself with.
Yeah, and I shouldn't though, because I knew that before I was, like, very capable physically.
And do you think now that after doing that, like, because it's something you've never done, it wasn't just a normal gym session, it was a strongman session, movements that you'd never done before, implements you'd never even seen. Do you think that you can look back to that now when you do start maybe saying a few negative things about yourself? Can you maybe look back to that session and be like, no, I'm not going to say that, and stop yourself in your tracks? Because I think becoming more aware of it is definitely a positive thing that you can, because if you speak bad about yourself and put yourself down, then people are not going to have any expectation because you already think that. So, you know, you want to have good language around yourself.
Yeah, I think fitness saves me. I think it saved me all the way throughout my life without even me realising. I think I distract myself with the physical strains compared, like, away from the mental strains. Because like suffering like with like mental health issues and stuff, that pain is so much worse than doing the sandbags that we did. Even though that was horrible and I couldn't breathe for a few seconds, that is no way near as bad as like struggling mentally.
Yeah, 100% agree.
And it distracts you from that mental pain. And I've always done that, so I've always been involved in fitness.
Yeah.
So that, like, I know that that's the one thing I've always been really good at.
Yeah.
So getting back into fitness reminds me, like, no, I'm really good at this. And going to Arnold's and meeting people like you, and I met like a lot of people and like networked and made a lot of connections there. I was like, oh, fitness is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I've always been good in
it's your
like
thing.
Yeah, it's my thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the Arnold's and then today reminds me, like, no, this is your thing.
Yeah.
You are really good at like stuff. I was gonna put myself down there, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
you're catching yourself
I was gonna say I'm not good at much, but fitness is one of them. But yeah, fitness is my thing. So the Arnold's gave me a lot of confidence, and I felt really good about myself. It's the same when I did my boxing fight in February.
Yeah.
I felt really good about myself. I felt like I achieved something.
Yeah.
I was proud of myself. And then the same happened with Arnold's, and the same will happen today.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing stuff that I'm good at.
Yeah.
That gives me a sense of purpose and that like fulfills me. And then I start to feel better about myself. So yeah, 100%, like, it will help me going forwards for sure.
It's about being in the right environment as well, because I think that we can easily get sucked into being down in the struggles of day-to-day life and external factors and things. But when you're in the right environment, it reminds you of what you love. And when you're doing things that you love, you've got no time to be sad. There's no time to be sad and that's why, like, there's times that I'm tired or have things going on and I'm like, feel sorry for myself, as we all do, victim mode happens. And then you go to the gym or you come, I go to Giants Live or I get to coach somebody new in Strongman. Then I remember, like, this is why I love my job and this is why I do this and this is why I do that. And it is just about being that environment, the right environment. If you're not in the right environment, and you obviously weren't in the right environment being in that TV show because you stopped the gym and you stopped everything that you kind of... I'm not saying everything, all of it, but parts of that wasn't obviously the best environment for you because it took away things that is a huge part.
That's it. It's what it took away. It's what it took away. Yeah. And like you said, like, you can be sad and you can go to the gym feeling sad, but what going to the gym and just keeping busy and keeping doing things, it stops you dwelling on it.
Yeah.
So, like, I've been to the gym a few times in the last few weeks, and I know I've been feeling sad, and I know I feel sad deep down.
Yeah.
But going to the gym or just keeping busy, it makes you not dwell on it and then get consumed by it. And then sooner rather than later, you are going to snap out of it.
Yeah.
I've said on my social media, I'm still going to have good hours, I'm still going to have bad hours, I'm still going to have good days, I'm still going to have bad days.
Yeah.
But it just means that if you're keeping in that routine, and routine's key for me, and I think key for anyone, that you're not going to stay in those bad days, you're not going to dwell on it, you're going to get to the good days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the biggest part of my routine is the gym. Always has been. So I've found my routine again. So I've like found myself again.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that it took all this to like make me find myself.
But then it's made you realise how much fitness is a part of you. Because before you probably it just was it was just there.
I've always known it was a thing.
Sometimes it's nice to have a reminder though, isn't it?
Oh, I've had a big reminder.
Yeah.
This like last year has been the biggest reminder. But I always knew it was my thing.
Yeah.
But I've got OCD, so I just think I obsessed over making that marriage relationship work, and I just lost
You
myself.
put all your energy into it. Yeah.
I'm an all or nothing person.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of putting my all into something, whereas now, like, I've got no choice to put my all into myself.
Good.
So, and yeah, fitness is a big part of me.
Thank you very much for coming on my podcast, Jordan.
It's been a pleasure.
And it's been great talking to you and getting to know you more. And I can't wait to see what your happiness journey brings.
No, it's been a pleasure, and you're great at what you do. Everything you do.
Oh.
The strongman stuff.
Keep it coming.
The podcast. No, it's good. Honestly, it's good, and I don't just say that for no reason. It's really good.
No,
So thank you.
It's been great having a different kind of person on the Tinny Talk, and I think people are really going to relate to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.